have one of the most hottest shows every single Sunday at 3. None other than What's Going On with Lady D and Sir John. Take it away, Sir John.
All right. Good morning, Cleveland. It's a wonderful Sunday. We have
Good morning.
Wonderful guests back
Good
from
morning.
last Sunday on Leaders of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Introduce yourselves.
I'm Asia.
And I'm Arison.
So we're going to do a round table kind of conversation, open forum. So any of our listeners who are out there listening, please give a call to join in at 216-298-1554. I should know this by heart, but numbers I don't remember too good. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things, especially getting a perspective from women or millennials' point of view. Young professional women, going to be super professional women, leaders of tomorrow.
That's right.
All right. Well, we're going to start off with Larry. You had before we began.
Yeah, well, here, okay, ladies, I want your opinion, and John, I want your opinion on this. I'm sure you're familiar with the Red Hen restaurant incident where Sarah Sanders
Smokey Eyes.
Huckabee or whatever,
Yeah.
yes, was asked to leave the restaurant because the owner didn't agree with her politics.
Okay.
What is your opinion on that, ladies?
Asia?
Yes.
Oh, introduce yourself first.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm Asia again. I feel like it's wrong either way because you can't deny someone to go somewhere because they don't agree with you. Because it happens when black people want to go somewhere or when the LGBTQ plus community want to go somewhere. Like, they're denied access anywhere. So I think no matter what your politics are or what you look like or what you believe in, you shouldn't be denied anything at all. Like, we have to be able to have a conversation and be able to disagree. But we can't say, no, you can't go here because I don't want you here because I don't believe what you believe.
And to piggyback off of that, it's kind of hypocrisy. Oh, again, I'm Arison Jackson, Cleveland School of the Arts alumni, High Tech Academy, LOT member. But yeah, it's a bit of hypocrisy when that happens. Like, you can't say, oh, I don't like their views when they're, I mean, like, it's the same exact thing. They have beliefs that are kind of discriminatory, and they kind of deny other people access to rights and certain things like that. But it's hypocrisy when you're going to do the exact same thing. Like, oh, it's tit for tat, and it doesn't make it any better.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you this.
Well, you
Oh,
think?
go ahead,
Well,
John. Go ahead.
do you think that well, how about this? I think the owner was saying, since the Supreme Court said in a case just recently this month
Yeah,
or
the
last
cake shop
month
or something.
about the cake shop,
Right.
the owner had the right to deny service to people who are in the gay community
Right.
or LBGQ
And I didn't
community,
agree with that,
and that he was fully in his rights. So I guess the Red Hen owner was saying, I'm franchise owner, I'm fully in my rights. I mean, Supreme Court said it's the law of the land. I'm in my rights.
Now, with the bakery, wasn't that he didn't want to make a
Cake.
cake
Right.
that symbolizes
Yeah.
homosexuality or something, but he wouldn't deny them service. He just didn't want to make that cake.
Well, that's denying them service, that particular cake.
Okay.
I mean, maybe that owner just didn't want to make her family a meal.
And is it right?
No.
I don't,
But it is the law of the land now.
I was going to say, yeah, but there's also certain, laws put in place where you cannot discriminate against a person due to certain things.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, opinions and belief and everything, but I feel like we can't minimalize. For example, it's like what you said. With the Starbucks thing, let's say that. It was a huge thing when these two black people weren't allowed to go to the bathroom at Starbucks because... we created this huge uproar about it because we thought it was unjust. But we can't minimize it just because she is on a different party than you.
Exactly.
And wrong is wrong when it's wrong. And that's that. And we can say, like, just because it's in our law, it's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense to me, but it's still there. So.
And I think that that's a big problem, too, that we're always ready to have these divides and never see that everyone's intertwined some way. So, like, this one person is not completely different than you. So you shouldn't be able to say, oh no, they're not like me, because no, we have some things that are in common. So we should be able to connect on those and we shouldn't be so quick to say, no, you can't do this because you don't believe what I believe.
We're looking at our common humanity.
Exactly.
You know, we just recently had a show yesterday on Good Day with Olivia where these sorors, so the sorority sisters, were
Bahama Breeze.
asked to pay their bill, and they what it was, they were profiled as not going to pay their bill.
Right.
And I took a picture of these ladies, all professional ladies, just like these, all the way from judges, lawyers, to educators, and they were, treated discriminately. I think it's just a little bit too much here. I think it's just gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
Where now I even go to this restaurant, this little corner restaurant that sells great chicken. But he has a sign up there now that says, we can refuse service to anyone that we wish to just,
Yeah, and it all is coming from, I personally, I think that the Supreme Court was wrong because all it did was make more measures of division. And some, and people are going to use that. Like you said, it's a tit for tat. And I think that's what that red hen thing was about.
Yes.
It was simply saying, hey,
Right,
you were
that is what it
Sarah
was.
Sanders, spokesman for Trump, who brought this all to be. Well, guess what? Get out. And it was a blatant tit for tat, and it was wrong. I do think it's wrong, but was he in his
But it
rights?
was his right, yeah. So
Yeah, he was. Unfortunately, it depends on what size of business you want to be honest with you. Because you can lose a lot of business
doing things,
doing that way.
And it's been that way for a long time. Like how you said, like homophobia, Islamophobia, like
Right.
it's a lot of, and when you do that, to me, and I guess the thing that really is kind of dumb to me is money is money. It doesn't matter who it's coming
green.
from.
It
Like,
has its own color.
exactly, like it doesn't matter. So,
It has its own color, and that's what it's not good business sense.
right.
At all. And then perfect example is Ray Kroc in McDonald's. One way he got McDonald's big and booming is that he did put it in places where there was segregation and things, and he did that on purpose.
Okay.
On purpose. It's business.
Yeah.
Their money's the same as mine. Yeah.
Right.
And boom, now they're the number one and staying number one ever since that.
So what's going on with I think they given her a name. I think they call her Permit Patty.
Permit Patty.
Permit Patty. Patty thinks you should have a permit for everything.
Yep.
Even selling water on your front lawn. What is the world coming to when we have people like Permit Patty?
Well, give us some, Eric, give us some background.
Well, so the video is of a little girl. She's like 8 years old, and she's outside. She has a cooler. She's selling waters for $2. And in the video, the woman recording, which I'm going to presume to be like the girl's mother, there is this woman who's Permit Patty. This white woman is calling the police on the little girl, saying she's illegally selling waters and da-da-da-da. And the mother goes, you're really calling the police on an 8-year-old girl over her illegally selling water, like when they're on their property selling it.
So they were on their property selling the water.
And she said that to the woman. The woman said, this is not your property. So, and she even ducked and tried to hide from the camera when the mom was recording and did the signature face. Did the one face. So, but she even came out after that. After she received a lot of backlash on social media because once it was posted to like Instagram, a lot of people found out her Instagram and, people will harass you for it. It was and so I feel like that is what drove her to come out and saying it was a joke or saying something like she didn't really mean it and said she feels horrible about the whole situation.
Now, you said something earlier about the lady, too, that she works in a particular industry.
Yeah, it's ironic because she works in the cannabis industry making, products made from marijuana that people go to prison for every day. And I don't know. To me, it's just kind of weird. Like
I
you're
guess
gonna
she had a
call the
permit.
police, right? Look,
Right.
Right. Right.
So,
But that it comes back to that tit and tat again.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like our society is getting to be like that, more of a tit for tat and more divide.
everything's
So-
argumentative.
Yeah, everything is argumentative. Is that like on your generation? Are you more, or is that divide reached you guys that far?
I like to say that our generation is the generation that's going to go and have that
Spark
backlash.
it. Yeah, like
and spark
there's
revolution somewhere, or
yeah,
protest.
it's like a little bit fearless at this point where there are movements being sparked because of social media and like starting these, different groups of trying to speak out of like against like negativity.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of unity in that because everyone's like, I know people are going to back me because a lot of people feel this way.
Yeah.
And so it is that we are fearless because we're going to, no, I don't believe in that, so I'm not going to stand for that.
And the role that social media plays in it because
Yes.
I mean I'm positive that that's what drove her to basically say it was a joke and apologize in a way. Like, I mean, you didn't feel that way until people publicly saw you on your social media and made
Went
comments
after you,
about it.
and probably
Exactly.
Also, your business.
Yes, they did. And a lot of people, I did see that as well in the comments. Like, I remember scrolling through the comments last night. The one woman said, guys, don't just leave negative, mean comments under her pictures. Go for her business and her business
Exactly.
partners. Look at her business partners, DM them, send them emails, and tell them about her negativity or what seems to be racially motivated bias against a little girl who's 8 years old selling water.
Exactly.
What is the if you guys can help me with something here, just to change the subject? What and you being young ladies, maybe you can help me. What is the big deal about being a Kardashian?
I don't understand the hype either, so I couldn't really help you with that at all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't rock with it either. I think I genuinely like. It's not to say I strongly dislike them. I don't though. Like, they are the hugest culture appropriators in the world,
Cultural appropriators.
And they make so much money off of it.
yeah, pretty much.
That's a nice
and
word
I
of
also
saying a thief.
yes, because and I'm not even gonna get too deep into it, but
Yeah.
it's very similarly like it's similar to what we talked about before, where with immigration or whatever. I feel like everything ties back to history. It is a historical thing for, it's not to say all white people, but it is a thing where you claim things and slap your label on it and now it's yours. I mean, for example, you come talking about you're coming to find new land and you see people here and now you're going to say, oh, this is America, this is ours. And tell the people who live in here, like, you commit genocide, now they're gone. I mean, and now they want to say, oh, you immigrants have to go. Well, I mean, Native Americans had the same thing, except they just called it white people.
Right.
Pretty much. So I don't like the Kardashians, honestly. I mean, they get money and
Well, you want to get money, right?
no. They get They get
Okay.
money
Okay.
and like attention
Right.
and their fame from negative things. So
Okay,
not
okay.
just
Ah.
getting that attention for like cornrows. Cornrows have gone back centuries ago.
Yes.
Black women have been, not even just black women, in black culture, that is where it is. And not only that, I heard that cornrows were also a way that they used to braid patterns into the hair to show maps of the Underground Railroad.
Wow.
It's more than just a style. And it's not a problem when people say, oh, it's just a hairstyle. Why are you guys getting mad about it? It's not that. There's a problem when you want to call it chores. There's a problem where when black women wear it, it's considered unprofessional, or when black men wear it, it's considered unprofessional. But when a white woman wears it, oh, it's so stylish, it's bold, it's so high
Right,
fashion.
right.
Yep.
There's a problem with that. Same thing to the features. Everything that black women have naturally, they pay for and is praised.
Right.
So
And so, is it social media that has brought so much attention?
I think they were
to
one of the
these
first
things?
who
Yeah.
used social media and has really turned social media to what it is now.
Right.
They were one of the first gears doing that and branding themselves and moving that way. So that they did do very, very well.
and not even that though, like even down to the fact that the reason she got famous was over a sex tape.
Yes.
You know, it's
with Ray J, who's
Yeah.
like washed up right now.
so it's
Nobody
just like,
questions that, but as soon as
She
somebody else
hijacked
does
that.
it,
I mean,
it's something
and you
big.
and it's, to me, it's weird in a way when you think about the fact that like her mom jumped on board. Well, let's get you money off of this. That's even weirder.
Right.
I mean, I'm
Well, her
just
mother
saying.
was a social dilettante.
I know, but to me, it's like,
She did it when she was doing out in the open. She did it in private.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she really did.
but we just had that conversation in a car though
Yeah.
about like the cultural appropriation or just the appreciation of black features or aspects praised when they're with white people, like even
Yeah.
down to them having interracial children. I feel like mixed kid fetishes are so existent and prevalent right now. Like people are obsessed with mixed children. They think they are just like
They are?
no, I'm so that's
You
an
get
actual
tons
thing.
of
I know a
accounts
lot
that-
of girls
That's a
who
what?
say
It's like if you look on Instagram or Twitter or anything, there's
It's
like
a
mixed.
fetish?
yes.
I think so.
There are girls that say I'm not dating a black. I want my boyfriend to be white or I want him to be this, that, and other because I want my baby to have good hair, pretty eyes. I don't want brown eyes. I want their skin to be like that kind of stuff. And it's sad to me it's kind of sad because it is to me a reflective of self-hate in a way, like because why do you think that that's so pretty and you don't think like you don't value yourself?
Yourself.
But even down to that, like what we just talked about in the car, like the features that y'all love on little mixed kids are their curly hair and their big lips. That's what you like. You like that they a little tan.
Most of the world's mixed.
So you know it's crazy to me,
That's
and that's
strange.
it's very and like even how and I think that is why to a certain extent I don't want to get all into like why they date black men, but in my opinion, they already are trying to take our culture. So they go after black men to have mixed children, and to me, it is a little bit deeper than that. To me.
Yeah. Well, there's something that I've read before. It is called whitewashing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where eventually, the children will become lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and that has happened. I mean, if you look at all the way back to all the
It happens.
the
It
beginning
goes
of
back and
time, where man came out of the Garden of Eden, okay, and then before you knew it, your Chinese people were whitewashed. Your Arab people were whitewashed. The Egyptians.
It's
were
Western
whitewashed.
colonization.
Yeah,
yes.
and it was even before the Western got colonized.
Yeah.
That this thing was going on, but as
Well, it goes both ways. I think it's just the prevailing ways of the themes. It is kind of disturbing that it's a fetish.
Yeah, that is new to
That
me,
is very disturbing. Because that's something that's talking, like you said, self-hate about you. What's inside of you. You don't love you. And that's the number one thing that God wants you to do, is to love yourself. Because then you cannot, if you don't love yourself, you can't
Then how
love
are you
anyone.
gonna love anybody?
Yeah.
Right. Like in my particular family, was very mixed from the very dawn of time, as far as we can trace it. And I've noticed different generations, some are light, some are super dark.
Right.
Some are light, some are super dark. And it goes back and forth and back and forth. But in America, we have always used the black culture for profit,
Right.
Yeah. It's always
to build the nation, and it's a lot of the things that has been appropriated, like you said.
The black
are-
dollar's worth.
It's
Jesus.
the number one export to the rest of the world, music wise, culture. Fashion wise, and things like that.
well, me being a pastor and everything, I look at things a little bit more differently, on a spiritual level, as a human race and not as a race types.
Right.
But that's not for this conversation today, because then I have you guys probably going crazy.
Oh, well,
But here's what I want to know
Spiritual's point.
from these young ladies who are representing the now generation. How can we begin to make the black race be more profitable to one another? How can we begin to bring back the Black Wall Street and bring back buying and selling amongst ourselves and bring back our neighborhoods? There is really we have tons of information, we have tons of knowledge, we have tons of know-how, and we are in a country where anyone can come in this country and pretty much make it
Right.
because they stick together. You'll find that the gentleman and the family that owns, like today, my wife and I went to Fuji Buffet, okay? And only people that look like Mr. Fuji was working there serving the food, and it was good, okay? But now I can go to our places, all right? And it sort of blew my mind the other day. I went to a Jamaican restaurant. Food was good. I said, oh, okay. And when the first time I went, I met the brother. I'm thinking, oh, this is okay. Yeah, I'm gonna come by here all the time. Next time I went up in there, it wasn't us serving the food. I'm like, okay, well maybe he's mixed marriage or something, which is fine. I'm mixed marriage, so it's okay. But I'm wondering, like, when do we begin to spend our dollars
on us?
With us? That's what when I go to eat now, especially, for lunch or whatever, I try to go to some place like that where I know, hey, we own it and those dollars they're recirculating. That's my little bit of giving back. How about you guys? Now that you're just next generation, what can you do to bring us back to where we're supposed to be?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of internal conflict going on. So it's a more so we can't, and it's because we're turning against each other because we're all trying to be number one. But we can be number one together, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. So when we're fighting back and forth, we're tearing down each other, which is benefiting white people. And I feel like that's why it's let's
or
back
just
off.
Other
cultures.
businesses.
And I feel like and you see in other minorities or anything, they're building each other up. And I feel like especially when I look out, I just see a lot of black people, just black on black crime. I see that. But you don't see a lot of us. Like with the kid who was in the Bronx, who was murdered. Oh my God. But when everyone was videotaping, no one wanted to help. And it's just everyone wants to fend for themselves, basically.
They sat there and watched it.
Yeah, they sat there and watched it.
Yeah.
And it was
and the store manager, nobody tried to jump in. When they jumped him in the store, dragged him out. But I get what you're saying. It's not a lot of jumping in to even do anything. It is a divide amongst our own culture.
Yes.
We have a lot of division. I feel like African Americans we have a lot of discord between each other, and it sucks because I personally believe we have so much power. Our dollar worth is crazy.
Exactly.
Everything
We're
we
the largest
contribute to.
consumer
Yes,
in the world.
And what we contribute to society. We contribute every taste. Style, everything. So to me, I just feel like it goes a little bit far back. I don't want to go too much into it, but how you mentioned how other races have cultures. Yeah, they have stores or something to pass on because they had it from, I don't know how to say it, explain it, it's a longevity.
It's going to pass generation.
We don't have generation to generation
within
stuff.
in their community, and they build each other up. They
Exactly.
hire each other.
And I feel like that's
other.
something that it's all back to you don't know what you don't know. Even when there are some entrepreneurs in the black communities, they sometimes fail because they don't know how to manage finances, because they don't have that background, or they can't go to somebody like a family member because they don't know, because all they've been doing is working all their life for somebody.
Yep.
And so I feel like it's kind of hard to go a path that nobody's walked, because where do you go from here? Right. And then also I feel like the best way, I guess, to get us back on that track is education. And a lot of times it seems like that.
And it could be education, not so much at a school, but
right, not at a school. I'm saying education about it.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, telling you what programs are out there to help you get started, we can get that loan from. I think it also starts with, you want to talk about the Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Those community banks that are African American owned, we have to support.
Yeah.
And pull our dollars there, majority. And that way they can then use those dollars and invest in the community, or in an entrepreneur who wants to get started. And maybe the criteria, and it don't have to go by his credit score, but what he wants to do, and the criteria is a little bit lower to help him get started and bring business back into the community. So it really takes us all investing and talking to
each other. And then it's like, even the ones that are successful, it's not a lot of coming back to help other people. Like you said, it's
Yeah.
always competition.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you what I did to get this money, because no. And that's
Right.
what I don't get. Like, you know, there's always this mindset, like it's okay to understand
Do
having
you think your
competitors, but
generation has this mindset still?
I feel like it's a mixed kind of thing.
it is kind of
but
mixed. I feel like it's transitioning.
Yeah, but a lot of people are still in that survival type of mode of like, I'm going to survive. My family's going to survive. Everyone else, I don't care, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a lot of caring for other people and how they do.
I like that, and it's exactly what it is. That survival type of mode coming out of our
Having to
experience.
survive everything.
right.
And you know what
Here
else?
in the United
Though?
States.
Even like how I talked about like the another reason I feel like there's never, but like why there seems to just be like differences as far as why we don't put money in our own stuff. Like I said this all the time. Like I have a lot of friends that have small businesses now, and it annoys me when their friends ask them, "Okay, girl, can you give me a discount?"
Yeah.
If you will pay full price for something that your friend is not doing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you want to go, if my friend's starting a makeup company, and you want to go and pay full price for Tarte or Anastasia or whatever, but you want to ask me for a discount because I'm your friend, that
Yeah.
to me, I can't get with that. I understand, like, oh, okay, you're a friend, you're a homegirl, I can help you out. But to me, I don't like that, because you're not valuing my worth or my
Yes.
work the same
Right.
way that you would somebody else's.
Yep.
Exactly.
And it's like, it shouldn't be like that. And also just seeing, like, I feel like because a lot of, you know, the Black community may be from like poor communities, we're stuck on materialistic things, and
Yep.
you waste your money on stuff that you can't afford. Prom season, that is crazy to me.
I don't
I
like
watch
prom
so many
season.
people, especially people from the same communities as me, spend like $2,500 on a prom dress and red bottoms and all.
For
That's
5 hours.
exactly, that to me is not it, and it
It's a waste of money.
It's a waste
that
of money.
Could have been put
Because
towards
all
your
because
future.
they want to look
something
this way.
else. And I think that's why I have so much appreciation for artists like Jay-Z said it himself, best and 444 album. That was the best album ever. He straight up said about like the drug dealers. He said, please don't die over the neighborhood that your mama renting.
Come on.
Take your drug money and buy the neighborhood. That's how you rent it. Like, how else
Come on.
clear could it be? Like,
Yes, he was.
and
he was
everybody
telling the
tells
truth.
you, they tell you.
Yep.
But it's the same people, like the same few younger people, like young heads in the community. Man, nobody like Jay-Z, whatever, da-da-da. He always talking about buying and investing in art.
He's
There's a
telling you the
reason.
truth.
Do
There's a
it.
reason. Look at him. He has passed Diddy up for, you know,
Right.
it's crazy to me. And not even to say that in a competitive sense, but look at who's at the top. Like, there's
And he's passing information
realistically,
down. How he
yeah,
got there.
exactly.
But nobody wants to listen because everyone thinks that they
Or
have
people
the
don't
right
want to pay
mindset.
for it because like I'll pay for I don't want to pay for title because that's too much. But
Yeah.
why would you know what
Invest
I'm saying?
in
It's
Black
crazy to me.
businesses.
It's literally that's all it is. And I do think sometimes it's just stuck on like we don't value each other. To be honest, we
And
don't.
it comes from us not
And it's
valuing
because we don't value ourselves.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Well,
it's
comes
all a
back to
cycle.
What you were saying about the fetish.
Exactly. It all goes that way, and it's crazy.
So we need to break the survival mode that we have been in as a culture in our psyche because of slavery, segregation, and how we came here. We need to break that mode and understand that we're the inventors here
right.
Yeah.
and take advantage of it.
Because black business has been around for a minute, and even down to the negative
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, even down to drug dealing, hustling. It was black business. Let's just be real.
And
Apply those
even
skills to
before-
different stuff and look at you
Right.
running.
You're
you know
doing
what I'm
the
saying?
same
You're
thing.
doing exactly.
So
doing
you
the
might
same
as well
thing.
go and get your Series 7 license
Exactly.
and self-stock. And you don't have to have an education. You don't have to have a degree to get
to
that,
do
that
those
license.
things. Yeah.
And I think there's a mindset of like you have to go to college to have a viable quote unquote life, but that's not how it goes.
No.
Like you can do so much and be an entrepreneur, and you're still in high school or something like that. You know?
And our tax system in the United States it's based on the entrepreneur.
Right.
Mhm.
So more and more our people just got to understand that the whole system is really based. If you're an entrepreneur, it's going to help you just automatically. It's based on that.
Right, exactly. And I mean, that's what really, I like what you all are saying because really what God intended for us is to be entrepreneurs, to be able to use that creative gift that's in each of us to profit. You know, the Bible says that your gifts will bring you before great men. Um, I love it when I hear young ladies creating makeups and learning how to do different things with clothing and learning how to do things with internet and everything that's available to you. There is there's a gift in each and every single one of us, and if we tap into that gift, it don't necessarily mean you have to go to college. But if you got that gift of biology, well, then you need to go to college and learn how to be a doctor.
Oh, working your strength.
Right, but a lot of chemists didn't even go to learn how to be chemistry because they knew how to take natural ingredients
Exactly.
and turn them into health products and beauty products. That's something that we all, individually have.
Yeah.
But
something
we're
is
not
a talent.
told about our greatness. We're only told about the bad stuff.
Media control.
And we're kind of only
Right.
told about other people's greatness because we were talking about this earlier too.
Mm.
How people don't capitalize on their gifts; they capitalize on what will get them the most money.
Right.
And it's like if you're not good at it, don't do it.
And that's not how it works, because when you're actually you're doing something or you're working with your strengths, how can you fail if you're
Exactly.
doing what you're meant, like what you're put on this earth to do?
You can only
So
get
it's
better.
like, I
You
mean,
can only succeed.
exactly.
Because you're working, like you said, from
Yeah.
your strength.
And like, for example, I was telling her, like, I like doing art and doing logos. To me, when people pay me to do that, I do it because I enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work to me. So that's something that's fun. Like, I enjoy doing it. Same thing with like biology and stuff like that. Like, that's enjoyable to me. I don't want to do stuff like go cook for people. That's not going to be enjoyable to me because it's annoying. Like, that's, like
Yeah.
work to what you enjoy and what your strengths are.
Yeah. And I feel like that comes from like people being scared to like know themselves fully or not being able to know themselves.
Or
because
being told that
Yeah.
that's not,
being told,
Right.
hey, you need to go out and be a doctor because that's where all the money is, or you need
Or
to
you
go
need to
out
be a
and do
drug dealer because
Yeah,
that's what we always did.
like fast cash. Like you're being told what to do, and you never have the moment to say, maybe that's not what I want to do.
Right.
Like you're always following someone else's dream, but
Right.
you never get to dream your own dream.
And that's
Right.
very important.
Very good, very good. And and
To
that's
follow your dream.
and that is very, very, very important. That as you young ladies are coming up, that you learn to follow your destiny, not someone else's destiny. And that takes good parenting skills.
Yeah.
To watch your children and see where their interests lie, and expose them to those things, so that they can make that choice,
That transition.
that passion,
Right.
and all of that. So now, tell us. I know on the last show we heard something about each and every single one of your passions. Can you refresh our audience about your passions?
Yes. Well, I like to write. I currently am working on publishing my book, and I would like to be an OBGYN when I finish medical school. That's my interests.
Okay,
And I love working with kids too. That's
Yeah.
my interest.
medicine. Okay.
I actually enjoy educating people.
Mm.
However,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the patience to be a teacher. I get very frustrated quickly. Like if someone's not grasping a concept. But I am very passionate about art
could be
and
a mentor.
science. Yeah, I actually that's something I enjoy doing. I just can't sit and teach you material. But I'm very passionate about art. I do photography, graphic design. Like I like doing all that kind of stuff. And then also science, neuroscience specifically. So working with the brain. That's
Wow.
interesting to me.
That's
The brain is-
interesting. That's interesting to you, but is that your passion?
What? Studying neuroscience?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm actually very passionate about
Okay,
science
good.
as well as art. They're both, and it's pretty funny because they're two kind of different things, but in a way,
They're
they
one
make
and the
up a
same.
lot.
Science is
Yeah,
art.
they're one and the same. I know, like,
Science
it's
is art.
amazing to me. Like, the human body, like, anatomy fascinates me the
Yeah.
most. Like, we're just amazing. Like, I'm not about to start getting excited, but we are. And even down to the brain, like, the brain named itself. Take a second and think about that. It's amazing.
It is.
John,
It is.
go ahead.
Well, art and science even though they seem like they're
Different. They are one and the
different,
same.
they're one and the same. Michelangelo,
Yeah.
one of the greatest scientists, yeah, one of the greatest artists.
Mhm.
It's one and the same.
Yeah.
Amenhotep, one of the greatest artists.
So,
But yet, one of the greatest scientists. Probably the greatest scientist. If we think about all the things he created,
mhm.
everything comes from a lot of stuff he created. Different framework or
Right.
different whatever, but the idea was there.
Yeah.
You know, something that's been on my mind, and I need to know about this because you guys brought this up when you said was it
LGBTQ.
LGBT? What's the Q stand for?
Queer.
Queer.
Mhm.
Okay. Why is it
Sort of taking the same thing that Afro Americans took the word,
right?
the N word,
And they actually added to their
It's
Kind
more
of.
than that. That's why it's LGBTQ plus.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Plus,
Lot.
like there's a lot.
there's a lot of different issues
Yeah.
or
You got
whatever.
pansexuals and
Okay.
transsexual. You know, it's a lot.
Well, you know, isn't that sort of dangerous?
To
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I feel like kind of. It's not
Yeah.
okay. I'm not gonna say it's dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
but people, it's dangerous in this. Like, okay, it's like assessing the risk. The risk of people wanting to say, "I want to identify as all of these," is now you have people that are going to try to say, "Oh, this is okay because I identify as this too." So, for example, I don't want to go
Go
too
ahead.
much into it,
Go
but
ahead.
Pedophile.
the pedophilia.
Mm-hmm.
There are
Right.
people
which they're
saying
already doing.
that they're saying that that's a sexuality.
Yeah.
And now you have a group of people trying to say, well, this is the same thing as you because we can't help how we are. We are attracted to children. We're sexually attracted to, and that's
There's actually
one
a
of
guy
those-
running for office in Virginia.
exactly trying to
And that's
push
what he's saying.
pedophilia as a
He is a known
sexuality.
pedophilia. He's running for office in Virginia.
Yep, and
And that's exactly what he's saying.
Isn't that dangerous?
yeah, in a way it is.
Yes.
and aside from that, I think it's kind of dangerous to have so many different labels
Right.
because it comes from us not being able to just say this is who I am.
Mhm.
So it's like I've known a lot of people who have like had like 10 different like sexualities in a way, and like it's all into one,
Right.
and like that's who you are. But I feel like we should be able to say this is who I am without saying I'm this, and
this,
stop
this.
having to like not qualify you, but like put you in your
A
own
Categorize.
Dewey Decimal
Categorize.
system.
yeah.
Because you know the reason I'm saying this is because one of the things that I'm a firm believer is in loving everyone,
Yeah.
and I know God loves everyone.
As they are.
If He didn't, He would never have given His Son's life for everyone while we were yet in this world. But one of the things that I'm curious about is now everything. So we have this title LGBT or Q, whatever.
Mhm.
And guess what's coming up? We have this other thing called AI. Now you're saying, Pastor, what is AI and this
Artificial intelligence.
artificial intelligence and has to do with queer and all that?
Yep.
Well,
Well,
now let me finish my
Okay.
thought. Because now you know that they have these robots
Mhm.
that you can have sexual relations
Yes.
with.
Okay.
Okay, and
They're not fully developed yet.
but they're getting well. They're you follow me?
Yeah.
They're getting there. I mean, man is becoming more and more away from who he originally is. And that's what happened in the days of Noah. Man had totally became, it was no more man, human. It was everything, angels and man and all kind of crazy, queer stuff. And now we're getting to a point where we're going back to that.
Well,
What
that-
can we, what is it?
well,
What
I
is
know
it
that, like
that
you
a
were saying-
robot to take your place?
Well, like you said earlier about the
I'm
creativity.
just throwing it out there.
The creativity that's in all of us comes from our Creator, God. I know in our country, because of the way it was built and the norms,
Is it okay to have sex with a robot, John? That's
Yeah,
all
I'm gonna
wanna
get
know.
there.
No,
Do we
just
get-
tell me. Is it okay?
Is it okay? If that's your thing, a lot of people use toys. They're already doing it.
Okay.
They're already doing it. But artificial intelligence, should they have a right? I don't think we're there yet to make that comprehensive. Whether that, unless, well, my personally thinking it's part of our creativity, and I think that ever since Adam and Eve, I'm a Christian, left the Garden of Eden, and people mistakenly, you're told in church they put on clothes. and they put on a bush or whatever to hide their nakedness. But if you read it in the original Hebrew, it was flesh Adam put on, him and Adam and Eve, not
Mhm.
clothes. Flesh, our bodies.
Right.
So that is just in the line of our ancestor, who was a co-creator with God. I mean, God created
Right.
the earth,
Sure, but
but
he was
Adam
God.
was a partner
Sure,
with
exactly.
that
I
because
agree.
God said, "Hey, name this, or do this, or do that." So it's in line of what we get from Adam to constantly be creating.
So I got these two doctors in the
I
house.
do get your
Let,
idea.
let me get these two doctors' opinion. What's going 20 years from
Two
now?
doctors. Oh, see, they-
See, I'm speaking into existence.
That's right.
I believe in
That's
speaking
right.
those things into existence. To my two doctors in the house, especially the one that wants to deal with the brain, where are we going to be in the next 20 years with artificial intelligence?
We could be much better.
Well, I can say this very quickly. By
Mhm.
the year 2050, or I believe 2050, 2060, there's said to be a computer that is going to exceed the intelligence of the
Sure.
human mind. So
Sure.
that was proven.
Absolutely.
But
Already have.
I think that I think that movies like The Terminator and stuff, they're very fun to watch until you realize they're very realistic.
Right.
Because what are you gonna do when we already have said that this technology will exist, where it is going to be able to surpass our intelligence. So beyond the line, I do very realistically see, like, coexisting with AI in a way, and maybe not like, I don't know. Because it's weird to say. I can't see me and you, like, if how old are we? I don't see me 40 years old walking my child to school with some robots. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think that
But that robot will drive your kids to school.
right,
Pick 'em up,
exactly,
tutor
in different
them,
ways,
Yeah.
exactly.
and all kind of stuff.
coexistence. So
Yeah.
I think
Because
like you said,
we coexist now with this.
With Siri and Alexa,
Right.
Cortana.
but
Right, Cortana. There's a Cortana.
the human
Yeah,
brain,
there's a
like you
Cortana.
said,
Okay.
the brain. Just think about the brain. Is the most adaptive computer on the planet, and I think even with AI, and it's going to be going through its progression to reach a level that souls going to surpass us being who we are and created by who we created. I think we'll be able to adapt.
Have you seen the movie Ex Machina?
Yes.
That's kind of what I feel. Like, to the point where we're doing all these experiments and kind of getting to the point where, like, we're advancing this technology with AI to the point where they realize, well, hey, I want to be like you, or hey, I can do this just like you. Why am I not? It's going to become another identification
Yeah.
thing. Then it's going to be, I'm an AI who identifies as you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it could be like that.
Because they're going to be experiencing.
Exactly. And when you're teaching them, or you're wiring in them to basically identify cues and respond certain ways and mimic emotion, you're going to get a person out of it.
Yeah, and then like that same person who was wiring it is still gonna try to control it,
Exactly.
and it's all like a controlling thing. When you
And
can't
it's not
control
going to happen
everything.
once you can't control
Control
it
it,
anymore,
yeah.
because the mind is going to develop for itself.
Yep.
It's going to, it's not going to be any more of a...
I know it could be a blessing in disguise. It might be a way of breaking down a lot of barriers culturally, racially,
Yeah.
that are there. That's somewhat.
Well, that's interesting because one thing that man does is when we are persecuted together, we tend to fight together.
Yep.
Yeah.
fight together.
We come together.
So maybe it could be a good thing if like robots start to take over the world. Then like we'll actually come together for one time. But I don't think it'll last that long.
So what do you guys
Yeah.
think? No, this is
Yeah.
for John. John, now I'm getting to my sci-fi mode here.
Your cell phone.
I just read somewhere where NASA is developing a war-type mission in space to
I
fight
wouldn't be
against
surprised.
asteroids
I really wouldn't be surprised.
and things of that nature. What is going on?
I feel like people are just
Oh,
want to
well,
find something to do.
Well,
Spend money. Spend money.
Not so much as spend money. Actually, there is some.
Are there some aliens on their way to Oh, no,
Well,
no, no,
I'm
I
a
believe
firm
in
believer
aliens.
believer in aliens. I think our
I know.
creator has.
I used to.
I do simply because there are more than one universe.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say not
So
only
there's
that,
more than one universe. He didn't just put life on one little planet.
Okay, well,
So-
I'll talk to you about that later. Go ahead. What are you
Yeah.
thinking?
I was just gonna say I think
He didn't.
I just was gonna say
Did
that
not.
it's kind of like the universe is so large that we cannot, we just one speck flying on a rock through every, like we're
Right.
really, we
And I have a
don't
good
put in
argument.
perspective how small we are.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
And how
small.
big everything
Everything
else
else
is.
is, right.
So I feel like, but there could be, with the advancement of technology, who knows? Because they know more than what we know or what they're wanting
But
us
they
to
might
know.
be
So
older than us and things like that.
Sure.
And
Well-
I mean, go ahead.
Well, okay. It's real simple, and if you really, and I love the way you're thinking, but if you simply just read the book of Genesis,
Exactly.
which is the book of beginnings,
All right. I'm
it,
gonna go there.
it will confirm what you all are saying, but it will narrow it down to one specific place.
It doesn't. And that's
No,
why I'm
no,
going to
no,
get
no,
in
no,
the
no, no,
original
the
Hebrew.
Pacific place.
In the original Hebrew,
here we
it does.
go, here we
It
go.
does not.
Rabbi
It
John.
does not.
Okay, Rabbi,
Does
what is it,
not.
Rabbi John?
And in the Sefer Yasara, which is Abraham and his
Uh-huh.
blessing, he specifically says that there are many worlds and many. God put many creations on many worlds. He specifically talks about the universe and the different universes.
I
And
know the
that,
ladies are looking at you like,
well, the Sefer
No,
Yasara
you
is
think
the
y'all are
blessing.
funny.
no, keep going.
oh, go ahead.
The book
okay,
of
go
life.
ahead.
Sorry, but he does talk about that Abraham himself, and he breaks it down. We are a creation that God created specifically for His enjoyment, but He also created other things, not
Right.
more so than the angels and dinosaurs and dogs, other enlightened beings, other.
Okay.
in other
well,
universes.
well,
And
we have.
he
to,
has.
You know,
And,
I used to believe
Enoch,
in aliens. I
you
used to believe in
read about
aliens,
Enoch.
but I don't believe in aliens anymore. The only aliens I see
Or
are
Mexico or from Guatemala. Okay.
Oh my
No,
God.
no. That, I can get deep with it, but I won't get that deep with
NASA,
it. But
no.
it's simply, you call them aliens, I call them angels, you call them whatever you want to. There's someone
An
called,
angel is much different than that.
Trust me, there are some fallen angels
Oh,
that
they're
brought a
fallen.
lot of information to man on this earth,
Well,
and
they fall-
the
yeah.
only form they could
Yeah.
take was the form of big eyes with a big head,
Or some,
and
No.
and they're doing all that
no,
crazy.
that's different.
Okay.
But
So
NASA,
wait, no, she said no. So what do they look? What does the alien look like?
Oh no, I'm just saying. I feel like that's just all propaganda.
Yeah,
I mean, the way I
propaganda.
see it.
Okay.
Let me say it this way.
Okay, talk to me.
If if you were to see an alien, right,
Mhm.
you wouldn't know it was an alien because.
You might look
And the
like
way
you.
I see it is exactly.
Wait,
So
what did you say?
the
Wait,
best
hold on,
way
what did you say?
he
I
said
didn't
it might look like you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the way
absolutely.
I see it is, well, how do you just how do you not want people to notice me? Well, let me tell them that it looked like this. So that's why everybody thinks that that's what they look like.
Right,
So
well, that's
that's
what- right,
what
right.
this generalized idea of what an alien is. I don't believe that at all.
Right.
However,
That's
I
true,
do
that's
believe
true.
that, to me, the world is too big. Not the world, the universe.
universe.
It's
And
too
it's
big.
constantly growing.
Yes, it's constantly growing. So with that being said, I feel like yes, in some places there are other beings, species or whatever, that are far more advanced, technologically advanced than us. So who's to say that, that doesn't exist? Who's to say it doesn't look like me? And who's to say that we're not a part of its experiment? I don't know.
It
Because
makes
sometimes when I was younger, I used to think I was in a simulation.
You might be.
And Elon Musk said that we're all in He said there's a big chance we could all be in a simulation right
And it's
now,
a very
it could
good
all
chance.
exactly. So to me, it's just like no, aliens are not these big-eyed things. I don't know what they are, but they exist.
And then
And
it's that's a good example. The first computer, or one of the parts of the first computer, is what? Millions and millions of years old. Found outside of Cairo in the bag there. And then they end up finding a whole city underneath the ocean.
Mhm,
Um,
exactly,
This computer had the planets, it did the sun, it calculated time, it did all this stuff. So who's to say we are not in a simulation?
exactly.
But NASA, this whole space, another part of the military, They have known for years, and especially from the Russians and their satellites, that asteroids are getting closer and closer and closer and closer.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, the
So
inevitable.
they're
is gonna-
a defense, and then also because the Chinese finally perfected the technology to put up a permanent space station themselves, and so it's just a quid pro quo. We know that the Chinese also have satellites that are not defensive satellites.
Well, you see,
So,
now-
it's all-
okay,
it's
but,
all-
but now see, now here's where I come in at on this. What we've done is we always like to look at the expanse of how things get larger. But did you know there's an expanse of things going smaller?
Minimus?
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Take the atom, for instance. Oh, what great excitement when they found the atom. And then they looked even deeper into the atom. Oh, what great excitement. We found
Exactly.
the nucleus,
neutrons,
and we knew
yeah.
new neutrons and protons.
Right.
And then they even went further than that. And I forget what they call it. It's called the
Are
The-
they
the-
subatomic or no? The subatomics are
they're called Legion. I'm trying to look it up right now, but there's something even smaller than the neutrons and the protons. And there is something smaller than the protons and the neutrons and the little liggets and the igits. Here's what I'm saying. It's infinity on both ends.
exactly.
It's that is such a design. That is such an intelligent design.
That there was a creator.
There's no doubt about it. But here's my point. Here's my point. You find out who you are in this whole vast distraction of a world, and you'll find out that you have God in you.
Yeah, pretty much it's
I know, but a lot of people say, okay, I got God in me, yeah, I know that. But you just don't know. You just don't know.
the point.
It's so much vaster than we think. And I just believe that this planet is the nucleus, is the atom.
Oh my goodness.
Listen to me, of everything. Because
No.
because listen to me, John, take your
Disagree.
time. Just take your time.
I did. I've
read,
gone over that
and
argument
read
before.
Genesis. And it said something very profound. After he made the earth, then he made the sun and the stars.
Again.
And if we're the
That's
middle,
awesome.
if we're that, then that means that there are other forms of
Well,
life.
thank you. And then on top of that, you got to remember that part of Genesis,
But
what
it's
you're
the-
mentioning, was
where's the-
so rewritten that it's not correct. It doesn't say that in the
now
Torah.
John is saying it's incorrect. Now the Bible's incorrect.
No, I'm saying
John.
St. John's
No, but a lot of
James
things get-
version is
no,
incorrect.
A lot of things get lost in translation because there's that one
A
passage
whole
that
lot.
And I
Greek-
even, I was
A
gonna
whole
say,
lot.
I mean, things can be rewritten, taken, changed. That, like you
This
said,
is
this
true.
has happened before.
This is true.
So
Yes.
people question the accuracy or the legitimacy of certain things all the time. I get what you're saying, but
You just got to go back to the original.
I mean-
and I go, and that's when, and it says it much more expounding by saying Latin. It'd be like pretty much
What'd
how
you
to
say?
put it?
Wait,
God, by him
bumbled.
just, or he
You
or
bumbled
she,
something. Okay,
because God has no gender or race or culture,
that's right.
or we're all of
That's
that.
true. That's right.
But Muhammad Al-Fayya, he was a huge Hebrew, what we call it, scholar. I like the way, and he was talking about that in Genesis, and he said pretty much what it is when God said, "Let there be light," everything was created. You know, everything will happen. It all happened in the design. It's more like a Big Bang, like they said. But he said it also, you got to think, because there's a part in there that leaves sometimes out of Genesis. I see it in certain versions, but I don't see it all in King James version of mine. When it begins, it says, there was nothing. There was
in the beginning
only
there
God.
was nothing. Yeah.
He filled every space and
That's-
everything.
That's beautiful.
Hold
That's
on,
the
hold on,
word.
no,
Wait,
let me get to the point.
Keep that thought space. That is it. That's
There-
the word.
there was
That's
no
the word.
space, 'cause
That's
he
the word. He
was
was space.
space.
But that's the thing I'm trying to
Hold
get you.
on.
But that's the beautiful thing.
Hold on. It wasn't one
between-
planet,
between
though.
every
You're
atom-
on one planet.
No,
and then
he is
Muhammad
space.
Al-Fiyah says
I don't know
that
Muhammad Ali.
God
Muhammad Ali was a boxer, John.
made
I don't know about.
space in his, like, you prick your thumb. And it's in there that all the universes, all the dimensions are.
It's the same thing with Lucy. Did you see the movie Lucy?
Exactly.
That's the same concept of Lucy.
That's what Lucy.
literally-
That's where that
exactly.
concept
That's
is
why people
coming
didn't
from.
get the ending of Lucy.
That's where it was
so-
coming from.
I
Exactly
got
where
you.
it was
We
coming
what
from.
we okay. We on the same page.
That's
now.
exactly where.
I haven't seen Lucy. I don't.
You ain't
think.
seen Ex Machina. You ain't seen Lucy.
Right.
Spell Ex Machina for me, will you please?
Machina.
Oh, she's good.
Machina.
It is a pretty good movie. It's pretty cool.
Okay, is it on Netflix?
No.
Is it on
Get it
Amazon?
from the library.
You can rent it.
It's
Yeah.
not on. So
Okay,
it's not on none of the.
I don't think
You
it
might
is.
be able to
You can
find
look
it on
and see.
YouTube or
I wish it
something
was
like
on there. But yeah, Lucy basically is saying the exact same thing. It was talking about. She was saying how we can unlock all of the use of our brain, which was incorrect when people said we only use 10% of our brain. No. I mean, if they're saying at a time, that's different. But
Right.
she was unlocking it all at one time. And they were saying, well, what happens when she reaches 1% of, the brain? And brain controls your senses, everything. She became space. That's all she was. She was like,
I
I'm
saw
all
that
around
movie.
you. Yeah.
Right. Oh, I saw that movie. Lucy.
Yeah.
And that's my point. God is space.
Not one planet.
Because you got planet, but you got space, you got matter. That's my point. But I'm just telling you.
Well, my point is
But
not
they
one
said they
planet.
found some other super Earths. They was like, we found
Yeah,
some
no,
other
they found
planets.
Yeah.
Earths that like
Yeah.
resemble Earth.
So
with
there's
water
not
right,
one
right.
planet. And
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
only reason I think, people say that, and it's like, okay, again, that helps with the division we have here. Because we don't understand that
5
we're
minutes.
all part of everything.
Right.
And
Right.
humanity. If we can get off our self-indulgence
Yes,
and realize
yes,
we're
yes.
all...
And that's it. And my brothers and sisters of the same ethnic persuasion, okay? If we come to realize that we are God, when we come to realize that we are God,
He's resting inside you. I mean,
man, the things that that's why they pull from us. That's why they take from us. That's why they beat us down. That's why they try to discourage us. Because if you get to find out who you are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Bible says when 2 or 3 come together, I am in the midst of them.
Yeah.
And nothing that they shall touch, anything that they do will come
Right.
to pass. That's why the languages was switched all up in the days of Babel. But now the languages are
Now
not
it's preaching
switched.
Sunday.
But now the languages are switched up.
Yeah, they are.
We just need to find out who we are. We'll stop killing each
other.
other. We'll stop being broke, busted, and disgusted. We'll start prospering and being well.
Knowledge
And
is-
no weapon formed against us will ever prosper because we know who we are.
And it
And
comes
religion
down,
has stopped us from knowing who we are.
religion
Yes.
has.
Religion
and it's
has-
a very that's the
Bishop
point.
Bubba has
Religion and your spirituality are
Right.
two different
Yes.
things.
exactly.
Yes.
But
exactly.
religion has caused a lot of
A division. It's caused
Division.
Well, it
division.
always has. It
and
always has.
even like progression of certain and during the
Oh, I like
Enlightenment
that.
period, a lot of it was paused because no, we can't say that that's true. But it's always a lot of divide between religion and science.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what?
So-
And it should be none.
it should be none.
It should be none.
One of the first wars was under Pharaoh, or the first global
3
war. I
minutes.
got one money under Pharaoh Akhenaten, who some people think was Moses, some people not, but he fought the priest, and it was all about letting the people know, and the priests want to have control of knowledge.
Right. That's true.
Number one maximum: knowledge is power.
Yes.
So you have to get the knowledge yourselves, brothers and sisters. You got to get the knowledge yourselves and live your lives.
And we have 2
And
ladies
your
here
children.
that I do see in the future that
Grabbing
will
that
be
knowledge.
grabbing the knowledge, sharing the knowledge, and are somebodies
All right.
in the whole scheme of things. There's no doubt about it.
Doctors.
We want to thank you, doctors, for just being a part of
Say that.
the KAZ radio family on what's going on with Lady D and Sir John. Any last words, John? You got 2 minutes.
Go out there this week. Take the chance to acknowledge our common humanity
Yes.
and just have a great time. Have a blessed time.
Love on somebody, will you?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to love on yourself too.
Absolutely. That
Come on,
starts there with
start-
yourself.
That's right.
The one planet.
The one planet. It starts with you. That's right. And you know what? Your world should revolve around you. Y'all can say.
Always gotta have the
I
last
said
word.
that.
You see that? Always
See,
gotta
no.
You gotta have the last word. You see what they're doing? You see what they're doing?
When you figure out that everything revolves around God, everything revolves around you. All right, that's gonna be my new slogan.
That's your new mode?
That's gonna be my new mojo.
Hey, she does
All right.
logos.
Oh, she does. All right, guys, thanks a lot.
Hey, Cleveland, have a great one.
Great job, guys.